Hey guys, it's operations time again. This looks like going to be a little bit of a different kind of operations video here. We're gonna go through a little bit of philosophy and methodology and reasoning and kind of stuff like that. We're gonna talk about while we run one of the haulers into the layout here. But I figured, hey, you know what? We'll add a little bit of spice to it here. Let's talk about model railroading a little bit, and so how to do operations, or at least how I do my operations here. So first off, we got to kind of step back here and take a look at the entire layout here. So it's basically a big loop, okay, with one little terminus all the way down here at the end of this side of this peninsula right here. But otherwise, it's just one big loop. But the way I've got it constructed, even though it just runs all the way through here, across our lift-up bridge and back around like that, it's really kind of run like a point-to-point, which I think is probably the most, satisfying to me. So, and the way my point-to-point, where it starts out, is actually in staging here, which is pretty ghetto looking. Just a couple of tracks here on a rather flimsy piece of wood right there. It runs out of this point, runs down the main line, around the loop, right? All the way around the loop, and then back through here, and cuts back in to the yard. Right? The yard is kind of almost like sort of the central point of the point to point. This is right in the middle of those 2 points, or the first point and the next point, which is Huntington Beach. But cars get classified over here, kind of switched around a little bit. So a hauler, which is what we're going to be putting together here in a minute, comes around and ends up right here. And then we get locals that take our cars from here, run into the layout, do switching all throughout on this side here, and then down through here we got our little salvage yard, and then run down to Huntington Beach, which is the second, or the terminus of the layout here, and that's the other point. So that is the end point of the actual layout. And that's the way this little operation runs here. So I figured I'd just kind of go over some of this stuff, and we do our hauler, because I've been running a few trains here sort of off the video and having some fun. And let's get the train put together here. But I figured I'd just kind of talk about that a little bit. This is going to be a little bit of a background, or I should behind the scenes sort of video. So I've got my cup of coffee here. Let me get a swig of that. I do have the layout already. Well, at least I got got my ESU powered up over here. I don't have the layout powered up yet. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to put together a little bit of a hauler here. Now, like I said, I have been running a few trains here. So I've actually, in the last, off-camera operations, I've actually switched out all of the industries along the backboards here. And so that was a lot of fun there, kind of having a good time all by myself without sharing with anybody else. But one of the industries I haven't done in a little while is SoCal Edison, which is right here with the blue My Jack in a big paved area right there. So I figured let's put together a few cars that'll go into there. You can see I've got like 2 box cars over there, and then all the way over here at the end there is a little oil pump, and they actually get tank cars. So let's go ahead and switch some cars in there, or at least select some cars. And you can see on the top of my shelf right here, I have all of my cars that came in from the layout and into staging here. So I'm basically just going to select a tank car here. Hopefully I don't break it. Trying to do this on camera, and I'm just going to start lining these guys up on the track. Hopefully, there we go. That sounds good. And then let's see, we got a couple of box cars over there. I'm going to end up pulling those 2 guys out, and I think I'm going to put in 3 box cars over there. Why not? So I just randomly sort of pick up whatever cars I want over here. And I kind of like, well, I like these big ones, but we'll see how they fit in there. But hey, that's part of the fun. There's limited space there in that industry, and so taking the big 60-footers like this can make it kind of fun. I know this is boring looking at this, so let's see. But I wanted to kind of go over the methodology that I'm using over here to kind of run my operations, you know. And so this is basically step one, is put together cars in staging for our hauler that is sitting over here that's going to be taking them out. So we've got our 3 cars here. I think I'm going to get one more box car. Let's see here. I'm taking a look over here. Actually, you know what? I think I'm going to do a flat car here. I'm going to put a flat car down towards the end here. And of course it's got nothing on it, but that's okay because it's going to be going in empty over there, because that facility, if you're not familiar, what it does is it's SoCal Edison. They make transformers of all different shapes and sizes. You know, the kind that you get up on the power poles, little round ones, and big giant huge ones that go into, you know, substations and things like that. All right, I think that's good enough for at least a demonstration hauler right here. Kind of a short one with 4 cars, but hey, let's have some fun here. So I got my ESU unit over here. Let's go ahead and get it fired up. I'm gonna go ahead and put the camera down here just a little bit so you can see what I'm doing without too much glare. Let's see. All right, track power on. And the first thing I'm going to do is, since all of the locomotives are going to start making a racket of one sort or another, I actually just silence them all except for our hauler, which is this guy right here. I'll put him in quiet mode, and you know, hit the brakes on him and just silence everybody else out on the layout. And I think that's it. Got that one right there. And all right, we're all good to go. So here we go. Let's get our hauler fired up over here. And again, that is our UP 9710. The BNSF unit there is a dummy unit. Go ahead and get our lights set here. So we got to pull out a little bit over this funky little track. And then we'll back in and grab our cars out of staging. Hopefully we don't derail right here. This is a to-do for me right here, is to fix this little staging area. But I think that's going to come with my other work that I'm going to be doing on making an expansion here to this little outfit. All right, there's good. We'll pick up our very large line of cars here. I'm being sarcastic, obviously. And it's a little dark in here, but hey, this is the best I can do. And of course, let's make sure this gets a good hookup. There we go. Since we're in staging, we'll just fudge it. Alright, we're going to point it in the right direction. Have them come on out. Gotta make sure my turnouts are good. pop into the yard, or pop into the layout, I should say, sorry. We'll wait for this guy to come out of staging here and make sure we don't have any issues. Now sometimes what you can do and what other people do is on a small layout where you don't have enough, don't have a ton of space, and you kind of want to extend the runtime. That's why I have this this little connector, this little line that runs over to the main line, bypasses the yard and goes to there. That's how I can run an extended loop, where I could just run a loop through either the yard or through the main line right there. Now we're going to come over here and stop. And so what I sometimes do is with a hauler like this, I'll just sit here and I'll run them around a couple of times. Maybe do like 3 or 4 loops through the layout. And that kind of gives you the sense that the hauler is coming from a farther distance there, right? So we're just going to come over here first before we continue on. Double check all our turnouts here. Especially this one right here is my little trouble turnout there. The spring broke, so I just want to make sure that's got not going to cause any derailments there. Double check that turnout. Double check that one, and finally the one that goes down into Huntington Beach. We'll do that. And then that one back there is going to take us into the yard. So this is the industry that those cars are going to be going in and out of right here. And we'll do that in the next video. I think we're good here. Hopefully. Can you imagine if I left him creeping right here and he just kind of went right off the edge? Alright, we'll put the lift up bridge down and continue our run here. Now usually I'll get them up to a respectable speed on here, something realistic. Because what we're simulating is, this guy is coming off of layout. Maybe he's coming from West Colton, or Colton, I should say, or someplace else, one of the other yards. Maybe he's coming from, LA, or who knows where. I mean, he's only got 4 cars on him, but technically, if he's a hauler, he's kind of coming out of someplace farther up. And even though we're running through the layout, we're just sort of simulating him running from wherever he's coming from for a little ways. And actually, what I'll do is, instead of just running him once around over here and into the yard, we'll do a couple loops just to demonstrate that. Make sure that's good. Yep, there we go. And then we'll have them do a couple of loops here. We're not going to watch that whole thing, but set that up. While he's doing that, we can kind of talk about the yard a little bit while I take another swig of coffee. But that's our, I guess I call that the outside loop. So that's the main line loop right there. And like I said, if I really wanted to, I could run them through the yard also. But having this sort of outside loop right here, I can have a hauler like this running around and still work the yard here without interfering with each other. And you can see all these cars I've got in here in the yard right now. These are actually all of the pickups. Like I said, I did run a local there that switched out a lot of the industries along the outside of the layout, along the backboard. So all of these cars are going to be picked up by that hauler after he drops off his 4 cars in here, and he'll be taking all of these cars back out to staging, sort of in the reverse of what we're doing right now. So we do need to kind of get a track over here. You can see we're pretty piled up here. Mr. Torres there, he's getting his GP15 fueled up right there. So let's get set up over here. Come here. Gotta go that way, and that's our longest track there, although we don't really need that much track for 2 locomotives and a 4 cars. A honk for the horses. And as we watch them come in here, we'll slow him down a little bit. And technically now he's going to be coming into the yard, so ditch lights off, headlights on dim. We'll do a little bit of bell here. And if I didn't screw up my turnouts, which I think I did not, we should go around the back side of that train right there. That will be our that'll be our first hauler coming in. So that's kind of train 1 if we were to follow the action on the layout here. And I think we'll do that with the rest of the videos too, the follow-up videos here at least. Alright guys, so hope you enjoy that sort of a little bit of a background behind the scenes sort of video here. Hopefully it's not too long or too boring, but hey, we got to at least run one train, and that's sort of my operations here. This is how it starts. We get a hauler out of staging and run them into the yard here. We'll get disconnected over here, and then next we would do any kind of classification or something like that, and or take out one of the locals like these guys right here, and or one of the other ones, and run cars out to the layout. So at least for now, that's part 1. Guys, I hope you enjoyed that. Hit the thumbs up button, and if you're not subscribed and you made it this far, you should subscribe. Anyway, I'll see you in the next operations video. Take care, guys.